don't sit under the apple tree with anyone else but me. Anyone else but me. Anyone else but me. No, 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 don't sit under the apple tree with anyone else but me.
Hi there. After all the drama that's been going on, I was looking for a really light-hearted topic, just something to kind of have some fun with. And since the Shady Bunch has decided that I am public enemy number one, I thought it would be fun to look at their comments to me, kind of along the lines of what like we usually do it with the sugar comments. This one is all about the Shady Bunch because they have had such fun with me this week. So I'm going to go through as often as I can. I'm going to give the context of it by saying what video or comment it is that they were reacting to. And I didn't change any of the names because really there are no innocent to protect in all this. First up, we have the video, and this was the fourth one in my Apple series, which was the first one that dealt with the triad of all three of the Markle family members. First up, we have He Was Not Invited to the Wedding. Get your facts straight. And this is brought to us by Menno Sucks, who also did the second one as well. But Menno Sucks, we cannot get our facts straight when they keep changing them. So please do let us know what the final story is, and then we'll go from there. But until then, we can only go on what your most recent story is. We can't keep going back and forth. And are you not in it for the money, bagging the family? Are you looking for a lawsuit against you? Now, let me make something perfectly clear. I am playing their words, and it's clearly their words because it's on a video, and I am commenting on it. There is no lawsuit to be done for me giving my opinion on their words. Now, if they want to deal with each other and the fact that they actually change each other's story, that's on them. That's not on me. Now, next up, we have Eileen Warren. Now, she's a very, very talkative person, and this was about the Apple Tree video number 2. So you are trying to make out Lady C is a total moronic idiot who fell for lies from the Markles. How insulting you are, how horrible. I would rather believe Lady C of you, a nasty woman we have never heard of before. Hope you get sued. Now, the best part of this comment was that it was on a video that Lady C's name was never once mentioned. So I don't know if they were just, putting it in any old place or whether or not they were a flying monkey that got sent to the wrong video. I don't know what it is, but either way, there you have it. Ha ha ha, are you for real? Who sent you, monkey? Wow, I never said she was an idiot. I said she had a vested interest in defending their credibility, which is the reality. But give my regards to Lady C. I had defended her in the past, but her monkeys are opening my eyes. Which is true. I never had anything against Lady C. I was pretty fair and honest and even said that I believe that when the Markles can no longer pretend that they aren't all pathological liars, in my opinion, allegedly, I don't think her credibility is going to be harmed unless she continues down this path at this point. I mean, her credibility wouldn't be harmed from the fact that she was lied to. But if she continues down that path and continues to do GoFundMe's and continues to enable them, that's when that's when I think it'll start to harm her credibility. And honestly, I think it's a shame. I don't understand why she would choose that option. I mean, that's just my opinion, obviously. And what do I know? She still has fans, even though she completely ripped a young woman to shreds just for having a different opinion about an item in one of Lady C's books. So clearly, her fans are not the most discerning. And again, they don't seem to mind being demeaned and talked down to when every time she gives one of her videos. Someone said to me in the comments, and I think they were spot on correct, and it was something that I had been thinking as well. When I listen to Lady C, I always just get this image of Lady Catherine de Bourgh from Pride and Prejudice. That is Lady C to a T. The condescension of Lady Catherine de Bourgh. Next up, we have Share the Unlimited 777. Share the Unlimited. I don't know. This is the same reason why I stopped listening to Paula M. As soon as I noticed she was behaving like a sugar, I was out. And this was said underneath the apple tree, the Shady Bunch. And my response is, haha, could you define that behavior? Because if your definition is that I don't give the Markle family blind devotion, that isn't being a sugar. It's not being a fool. I'm starting to really resent this definition that I'm a sugar simply because I don't give blind devotion to the Markles, because I don't give blind devotion to the royal family. I call it like I see it. And my horse in this race is not necessarily the royal family. I do appreciate and respect the royal family. I am an Anglophile and always have been. But my horse in this race is that I want Harry and Meghan out of my country and to stop in getting themselves involved in my politics. So my horse in the race is to call out whoever is enabling Harry and Meghan. And at this point, I see that the Markles have enabled her and the royal family has enabled her. And so that's my stake in this. And I'm going to call them out as much as I call out Harry and Meghan because they're behaving just as ridiculously. And I'm not going to give blind devotion to anyone. That's how the sugars became sugars, because they were giving blind devotion and not looking at any behaviors other than the ones that supported their narrative. I'm going to call out whoever needs to be called out in order to end this farce. Now, this next comment was under a post in my community tab, and in my community tab, the post was about the Shady Bunch getting shadier. Just so you know, that's the video that I'm still working on. And it's not that there's more misdeeds to uncover, it's just that there's more people I'm throwing onto that little screen there, onto the, Brady Bunch box. Vicky Halliday, you're out of line, well out of. You lot are freaks. Never will I watch you and your sugars again. It's all about how much money you can get from subs, daft cow. I don't know if they realize how many subs I actually have. I mean, I have like 8,000 wonderful subs. I mean, it's not like I'm in the hundreds of thousands here. But what's interesting is that they don't seem to even realize that they are behaving exactly the way that they are criticizing. Probably because this is that whole other bunch. This is the Shady Bunch. This we've got Sugars now and Shadies. It's a parallel squad that pushes the Markle narrative. Jen Wilson says, "Where do you get off saying these about Thomas Jr.? It's his family, not yours. You know nothing, so why don't you just FO?" Well, here's the thing, Jen. Jen, I really didn't have a problem with Thomas. And in fact, if you go back and watch episodes 1, 2, 3, and 4 of the Apple Tree series, I really didn't have anything to say about him, good or bad. If anything, I said I kind of thought he was the most innocent of the triad. Now, it just so happens that I then discovered some things about his GoFundMe that raised eyebrows. I never said anything. I only said they were questionable. I never actually said anything negative about Thomas. And even after that video, all I've done is show the man back his own words. You have to wonder what it is that I'm saying that's such a threat to Thomas Markle Jr. Another refrain from the Shady Bunch, because that's what they are. Paula Taylor, I'm no fan of the Markles, but something is bugging me about you. Shocker. You haven't been around very long, so are you here now trying to say, look, people, Megan's not that bad. She's a good person compared to her family, because that's how you are coming across. Are you trying to change people's minds about MM? And I respond, not at all. As I clearly say, I think Megsy is absolutely evil. But I am saying that the apple didn't fall far from the tree. That level of evil comes from somewhere. And although I say Megan is a demon, in my opinion, allegedly, do your own research and form your own conclusions, but you kind of understand why when you see what she was raised in. That environment seems to me, in my opinion, very cutthroat and very manipulative. It's just another insult to our intelligence, as though we can't tell what a person is saying and that everything has to be put into black and white, sugar or not. It's not that simple. Now, this is a long one. Journey 007. I came to watch your channel because I highly respect the royal grift and how intelligent she is. Your initial videos seemed like you were also on the right track. But lately, it seems you are all too eager to share the findings from both the Duchess of Narsussex and the royal grift, but when called out, you play the "Hey, I'm just resharing. These aren't my thoughts," and seemingly just wiping your hands clean. It comes across pretty cowardly, in my opinion, and you can't seem to stand strong on your own opinion. If you agree with the other great YouTubers, then stand firm on it instead of passing the buck so you don't get in any kind of trouble in case the others do. Pretty weak. Yeah, I really just I absolutely I didn't realize that the Duchess of Narsussex had called out the Shady Bunch. I didn't realize that the Royal Grift had called out the Shady Bunch because from what I saw, the Royal Grift was questioning all the photos. She's going through piece by piece. You've got the Duchess of Narsussex linking to some very shady characters through all their political alliances. Neither of them did anything like what I have been doing, which is going piece by piece through things like the Thomas Markle Jr. show. And what they're doing is awesome. There's no dig in this. I'm just saying that I'm doing something different. Last but not least, while I am seeing the shadiness of the Markles, I wouldn't be so confident in adding Lady C, Dan Wooten, or Angie to that list, unless that's what you confidently feel. Well, didn't you just say I wasn't being confident? So if I wasn't being confident, how can you say I confidently? Oh, wait, I just read again in one of your comments how these aren't your words but someone else's. No, I am quoting someone else's words. The opinions are mine. I try to like your channel, but your lack of having a backbone is what makes your channel frustrating to follow. At the end of the day, your comments and behavior comes across as weak sauce, and as someone who would totally leave the others hanging out to dry, Megan Small, Duchess of Narsussex, and the Royal Grift, all of whom I absolutely love and watch on a regular, you are not. These are my opinions about your channel. And I said, okay. I mean, I can't say I disagree. I think Megan's Mole, Duchess of Narsussex, and the Royal Griff are great channels. Oh, Thomas, you're going to have to do better than that. And no, I don't think Thomas Markle Jr. wrote that because I don't think he could. Let's just leave it there. Now, if you see this, this person goes rather extensively into exactly how a death notice is published, who does it, that there are state managers, what happens in probate, blah, 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 the funeral home. But the interesting thing is that they put this on my video, the real Thomas Markle Jr. I never mentioned a word about any of these things. So I'm not really sure why this had any relevance to my video at all. I think this minion meant this to be a response to the Royal Griff's video. I mean, they're just not very bright. Eddie Cat. Now, with Eddie Cat, I have to admit, when I listen or when I read, when I look at the name, I just automatically think in my head Phoebe singing Smelly Cat. Eddie says, "What is wrong with you? There is nothing but mean that oozes out of you. What is your purpose here? You are not helping this world be a better place. You are destroying any kindness and humanity with your poison. Your type of toxic is radioactive. Go get help. Shut your vile, selfish, vindictive mouth and get therapy. This is a channel that deserves to be shut down. I have a choice to not enable the mean girl and her trolls. I'm out of here. I won't be bothering to read any of your comments. You are deleted and delusional. Just saying." Yeah, just saying. My response was, "And I am destroying kindness and humanity with his words? I am the one that was threatened, but I'm the mean girl? I am hurting the world by showing the truth, but his fraud and deceit aren't? You are insulting and derogatory, but I am the troll. Please, make it make sense." As a good friend recently said to me, I have to stop trying to find logic in their illogical behavior. It's just, it's a curse. I try and look for logic. User Z3N5M, they keep removing my civil comments about Junior. No, no one removes any comments on my channel. The only person that does, or the only entity that does, is YouTube. Some comments are automatically, no matter what I do, automatically censored, even though I have the lowest censor setting set for my channel, because I would rather be the one to moderate my comments, not YouTube. But YouTube still does it anyway. I mean, there's some things that they're just not going to post. And I don't delete any comments. And I'll prove that to you when you see the special treasures that we have at the end. Because if I was going to delete anything, it would be those. And I didn't. They're still there. Now, I haven't listened to all of Thomas's video. I saved it and then just, dropped it off at a safe location. But I bet, and so I didn't read, I know that he read off comments from my channel. How about a game? How many of those comments were the ones that Thomas brought up? Because I'm pretty sure those are the ones. Here comes Fritz Cat. In my opinion, all you are doing is antagonizing Tom. The question is, why? I was already making these videos when he threatened my life. And once he did, it was in my best interest to make clear who it was that was threatening me and defend the position that I was taking. I don't like bullies, and he is one. I answered your question. You are intentionally antagonizing me and victim shaming. Why? Because that's honestly what they're doing. They're trying hard to make me the bad guy in this when I wasn't the one out there threatening anyone's life. Now, it was quite funny for me on Tuesday as kind of, the fallout of the video. And I was in some lives during the day in between, I would take some breaks and I was watching some lives. And I all of a sudden seemed to have gotten myself my very own stalker. Yes, I had a stalker. And this is the stalker that was following me through all the lives that I participated in that day. Now, these things don't have anything to do with me, but you'll see why I'm including them. I am including these because it shows a little bit about the type of personality of this Iwaka. And he's talking about Harry being gay. He's talking because let's just say it would take a very immature mind to consider these things to be as insulting and derogatory as this person thinks it is. Now, who does that remind you of? Me personally, it reminds me of Thomas Markle, but that's just my opinion. Considered a far right nationalist, enemy of the state, terrorist type. Ha ha ha. They don't like labels, but they sure label everybody else. Now that had nothing to do with me because I wasn't saying any of those things. So those are just kind of my character references for Waka. Now it didn't make sense in the end. Just go with me here because it was during the Duchess of Narsussex's live where I have taken to reading the comments because I enjoy hearing Tom Taylor's input, and he comments a lot during the Duchess of Narsussex's live. So I was paying attention to the comments more in that one. And all of a sudden I see you've been infiltrated. So obviously I was going to pay attention to that, but it was funny because no one else did. But that's just because the Duchess had a great live. But the next thing, doing cooperative lives with the enemy that's Christopher's pal. So since I had done the last live with the Duchess, I was like, interesting. And then it says she was talking here and at Avids. And remember, I didn't notice them in Avids. I went back and found things later. But initially, I was like, huh, well, I was just in Avids Live. This is interesting. So, needless to say, I went and, I started following what Owaka was saying. Now, two or three of them, there were two or three people that were also playing off of them, like giving them, openings to say things. Um, Whether or not it was another person or just them, who the heck knows. But Nutmeg, people are coming into this chat. Hello, Christopher Boozy. And then Awaka says, Nutmeg, absolutely. And then they say, name they're using is Recollections May Vary. Well, it's our recollections may vary. First of all, Thomas. And second of all, there are a couple people that do actually have a different name, which is Recollections May Vary. So be careful there. Oh, so the plot is thickening. And Nutmeg says, I am sure they are recording. All of us who were in the chat are in agreement. And Waka said, "That's a sugar. I bet it's a guy." And see, that's how he just gives himself away. Because how many grown men are going to consider that to be an insult or a derogatory term? I mean, only someone of extreme immaturity would use that in an adult conversation as an insult. And so I said, "I am Boozy's operative?" "Yes, you are." Now, is he shouting at me again? Or is he just being emphatic? Because after he was verbally abusive to me during his video, my assumption is that he's shouting at me again. Thank you, Katrine. Katrine was in the couch. She was the only other one that seemed to catch on what was going on, and she, of course, laughed as one would. And I believe my response to her was, "Ooh, shh, don't give away my secret." And she laughed even harder. But Oaka said, because I had said I'm the operative, and he said I wasn't there, and I said, "How did you figure that?" And he said, "I wasn't there when the egg was fertilized. You evil troll, do what you're gonna do. Let me have all your info. I can come and visit you." Now, I don't know. What do you think? Is that a threat? Because that kind of sounds like a threat to me. One would think that, the video was enough, but I guess he hadn't had his fill. In my opinion, based on the way he has acted towards me, I'm going to say this gentleman has an anger problem. I've been thinking Thomas Markle Jr. is a mouthful, and it's kind of, I need a nickname for him. So I think Owaka is going to be my new nickname for him. So we're back and forth a little bit. Where's the answer? What's the question? And I wanted him to explain why he thought I was Boozy Bop Boy's operative. And this is where Owaka gets really, really clever. "I have no defense. You infiltrated very well. But you've been watching these people for years." Yes, yes, I have been watching these people for years. It's called being a fan. And I said, "Owaka, I cannot even. You are clearly deluded." And then he says, "Everybody sees it, and it's becoming more and more apparent. I still don't see your question." Well, I didn't ask another question because you already answered it. And my response is that you're deluded. His answer is that I have infiltrated very well. I didn't ask him anything after that. Now, one thing I would like Owaka to answer for me, if he would be so kind. He says that when you lose a parent, you should be allowed to grieve and not have the gnats of social media coming attack you. That's just crude, rude, and will be visited upon the perpetrators. Well, here's my question for you, Waka. I made a very public statement during my interview with HG Tutor, and I additionally made an announcement on Friday that that was the time that was the hardest for me, being my son's birthday. You threatened me despite that public information. So don't tell me that no one cared about your grieving. When you lose a parent, you should be allowed to grieve and not have the gnats of social media coming attack you. That's just crude, rude, and will be visited upon the perpetrators. Recollections may vary. Right here, the Potter is saying they're liars and grifters, got a whole channel dedicated to it. If you don't tell them anything, they're going to make up lies. I've seen here on this live anyway. And you know what's interesting to me? Other people did a lot deeper investigations on things concerning the Markle family than I did. Why is it that I'm the one that was the most despised? Could that be because the one thing that I did different was investigate the GoFundMes? Is that why your little spies were in my member? They were my members? They were trying to get the original version of that video back? You know, I cut it down when I made it public, but my members saw a different one. And that's the one they kept asking about. "Well, when are you going to put it back up? Well, when are you going to put that one back up?" And I said, "No, no, no. I just reworked it. I edited it. I cut a couple of things back." And that's the one they kept asking for me to put back up. Why is that, Thomas? Did you want to know what that video said? Yeah, yeah, I bet you do. But all in good time. All in good time. Because I'm just waiting until I get the rest of the information. Make it a bigger, better story. Now, you may still say that me saying that Awaka is Thomas Markle Jr. is a bit of a reach. So let me explain a little bit more of what I have going into that belief. This is a clip of a long tweet that was put on X by the person who I believe is Barbecue. And you can see here it's talking about the number of elections going on in the country at this time. And it's not important why, there's a lot of reasons, but I believe that this person is Barbecue. And Barbecue was also in the Duchess of Narsussex's chat, almost simultaneously with Owaka. And I don't think that Owaka and the person playing Barbecue, or Barbecue's other alias, or I don't even know what to call it anymore, but you know what I mean. I don't think that Owaka is Barbecue, but I do think that they are people that have a lot of the same thoughts and opinions and feelings. And it is interesting that they seem to be simultaneously commenting in the chats as though they were together and kind of colluding and making their comments and kind of playing off each other a little bit. Now, this is all just my supposition, but I'm just explaining to you why it is that I believe that Owaka is Thomas Markle Jr., and he was, in fact, stalking me throughout the day through lives and was threatening me while he was at it. Now, that about wraps it up for the Owaka conversation, a lot of the Shady Bunch love letters. I do have two more special ones, but I'm saving them for the end. Now, I am still working on stuff, uncovering little nuggets here and there, and it may take a little while to get it all put together, but I am going to go through a bit of a lightning round here, just kind of give you a hint about some of the things that I am working on. Because I'm just so kind and thoughtful, and I don't want you to have to wait any longer than necessary. So one of the things I noticed is that the Thomas Markle Sr. GoFundMe that was started by Thomas Markle Jr. in October of 2022 to help pay for his father's medical expenses, that GoFundMe is still open. You know, this is the one that was supposedly hacked into by the Sussex Squad shit stains, I believe he said. But it's still open, and as of 4 days ago, it was still accepting donations. Thought that was kind of interesting. Not making any statement about it, just saying that it's there and giving you the opportunity to conclude from that whatever you will. Now, the other thing that I noticed in my travels is Doris May Markle. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Doris May Markle Thomas Markle Sr.'s mother? From Pennsylvania, moved out to California. She's 104 today. Not today, it's not her birthday, but currently she's 104. And she has three grandchildren: Thomas Wayne, Rachel Megan, and Yvonne Marie. What am I missing here? Because it's my understanding that Thomas Markle Sr.'s mother was, in fact, the one that Rachel took care of before she died. But this Doris May Markle is age 104. I don't know who else it could be. Maybe a great aunt. But if it's a great aunt, why are Thomas, Rachel, and Yvonne the three nearest living relatives? And I'm sure this is my mistake. This is my error. But I couldn't find the answer. So I'm asking if anybody has the answer. Go ahead and drop me either, a message down in the comments, or my email address is on my channel. Let me know what you think. And finally, because some of you may not have seen it in the comments, I know that some people were trying to find it and they couldn't. I did leave a note that these comments were there, but Owaka decided to come visit my channel and leave his very, very sweet, kind message to me. So, in case you couldn't find these in the comments, and if you don't like crass, vulgar language, now's the time to turn this off because it's about to get pretty ugly. But the first one, and yes, people, this is all one run on sentence. Wow, another moron repeating everything from the tabloids, everything that's in the paper, repeating on their YouTube channel, just like every other fucking moron YouTube channel out there doing the same exact thing. How pathetic are you? Talking about me and my family like you actually know us. Talk about a grifter who needs a fucking life. Go look in the mirror and call yourself a fucking loser like the other pathetic YouTube channels talking the same shit because. Yep, all one sentence. And the second one. It's amazing how these new pathetic YouTube channels show up and they don't have anything to talk about. They have no content whatsoever, so what do? They start making things up and pushing the narrative just like a sleazy fucking tabloid magazine, and people nasty comments, probably Megan's trolls, or Megan's little flying shit stain monkey squad, people which you definitely probably are one of, pretty hilarious though shallow. Well, I would say, Waka, if I didn't have anything to talk about, why are you threatening me? It seems I must have something important to say. Otherwise, you wouldn't have bothered with a YouTube channel with only 8,000 subscribers. So that's what I'm up to. That's what the bunch is up to. Like I said, just to give you a little hint about some of the things that I am working on. And I am also looking at, I had some great suggestions on historical topics to look into. And I expect that in the next week, because Megsy's been pretty quiet, I expect we're going to have something happening. I don't know what. I feel like there's a storm brewing. So they all just seem to be getting a little bit more desperate than they were the day before. So thank you very much for listening. Please leave your thoughts down in the comments. Thank you and have a great day.
Don't make me go Cobra. I will go Oprah on your ass. Don't make me.